Learning objectives. After completing this module, learners will be able to understand the importance of law to protect the people from exploitation. List the laws that prevent exploitation. Explain the importance of the laws to protect the environment. Law and social justice. Introduction. Need of laws. To protect people from exploitation, the government makes certain laws. These laws try to ensure that the unfair practices are kept at a minimum in the markets. To ensure that workers are not underpaid but are paid fairly, there is a law on minimum wages. There are laws that protect the interests of producers and consumers in the market. The government has to ensure that these laws are implemented, which means that the law must be enforced. Enforcement becomes even more important when the government can control the activities of individuals or private companies so as to ensure social justice. Fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian Constitution, like right against exploitation, say that no one can be forced to work for low wages or under bondage. The Constitution lays down no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mines or engaged in any other hazardous employment. Bopal Gas Tragedy. Bopal Gas Tragedy on the night of December 2nd, 1984 is a sad example of human negligence. It caused deadliest air pollution, claiming 5,000 human lives and rendering many thousands sick and handicapped. It was due to the sudden leakage of the poisonous gas methyl isocyanate from the Union Carbide factory at Bhopal, which was stored to manufacture pesticides. The leakage continued for 40 minutes, and poisonous gas was quickly spread in the air of nearby localities of Old Bhopal under the impact of morning breeze, killing thousands of human beings and animals. The gas also polluted drinking water, soils, and adversely affected fetus of pregnant women, newly born babies, children, and old people. About 200 women delivered dead babies, and about 400 babies died within a few hours of their birth. About 47% of the pregnant women suffered from instantaneous abortion, and many preferred voluntary abortion. According to the official figures, about 10,000 people have been made permanently disabled and about 30,000 partially handicapped. About 1.5 lakh people are the victims of minor disability. Newly born babies who could survive have developed blue spots on their livers and are suffering from cough, asthma, and eye trouble. The tragedy was a warning to humanity to put curb on the production of poisonous gases, take utmost precaution on their storage, and use and devise proper mechanism to avert safely manage such tragedies on war footing. The victims of Bopal Gas Tragedy are still fighting for justice. The company which owned the pesticide factory, Union Carbide or UC, refused to accept responsibility despite the wide open, so many evidences of the tragedy. The workers' worth. Advantages to foreign companies in setting up production in India are cheap labor. Wages that the companies pay to workers, say in the USA, are far higher than what they have to pay workers in India. For lower pay, companies can get longer hours of work. Additional expenses such as housing facilities for workers are also fewer. Thus, companies can save costs and earn higher profits. Cost cutting can also be done by other more dangerous means. Lower working conditions, including lower safety measures, are used as ways of cutting costs. What is a worker's worth? Foreign companies come to India for cheap labor. Wages in USA are higher than that compared to workers in poorer countries like in India. For lower pay, companies can get longer hours of work. Since there is as much unemployment, there are many workers who are willing to work in unsafe conditions in return for a wage. Enforcement of safety laws. Enforcement of safety laws. The government has a duty to ensure that safety laws are implemented. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure that the right to life guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution is not violated. Rather than protecting the interests of the people, their safety was disregarded by the government and by private companies. With industrialization of both local and foreign business in India, there is a strong need of laws for protecting workers' rights and enforcement of the laws. New laws to protect the environment. In 1984, there were few laws for the protection of environment in India, and these laws were hardly enforced. Environment was treated as a free entity, and the environment, air and water in particular, was polluted by the industries without any restrictions. The pollution-causing factor was to be held accountable for the damage done to environment. The government plays a vital role in setting up laws and procedures that can check pollution, clean rivers, and introduce heavy fines for those who pollute them. Environment as a public facility. Environment issue in India has highlighted the fact that the growing concern for the environment among the middle classes is often at the expense of the poor. The challenge is to look for solutions where everyone can benefit from a clean environment. The government has to encourage and support factories to gradually move to cleaner technologies. This will ensure that the workers' livelihoods are protected and both workers and communities living around the factories enjoy a safe environment. Conclusion. Laws are very essential in many situations, like the market, office, or factory, in order to protect people from unfair practices. Weak and poorly enforced laws can cause serious harm. The government plays an important role in many ways, as the people can exert pressure on both private companies and the government so that they act in the interests of society. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. It's the duty of the judiciary system and the government to ensure that social justice prevails and all the citizens can establish their rights. The government makes certain laws to protect people from exploitation. The government has made laws on workers' wages, workers' and safety measures, consumers' protection, pricing of products, environmental protection, child labor, and trade or workers' unions. It is the duty of the government to ensure that the right of life guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution is not violated.